Welcome to Resiliency Talks, where we encounter the stories of life, the way it knocks you down, picks you up, pulls you apart, and makes you want to stop breathing. Our talks are a collection of overcoming stories and traumatic events from your host, Essi Bagheri, and often interviews from special guests who are experts in their field. From a child sexual assault victim, to a boy soldier, to a teen father, to an adult recovering drug addict, Essi has a lot to talk about regarding strength, loss, bravery, and hope. Together, we can overcome trauma and addiction. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Do not give up now. Without further delay, here's another impacting episode of Resiliency Talks.
Welcome to Resiliency Talk Show. My name is Essi Bagheri and I'm your host. This is the first episode of Resiliency Talks, and I want to welcome you to my home. The reason I start this podcast is to share my experience and bring guest experts and other guests that who overcome obstacle challenges, trauma, addiction, and many other challenges that they overcome. I thought that would be the first, that would be the best if I start introducing myself and for you to know who's doing this podcast. I've been living in Vancouver, beautiful Vancouver, Canada for almost 34, 35 years. And I'm blessed to be in Canada. One of the reasons I started this podcast is I believe I have a responsibility to let people know that if someone like me who came from completely, I can say, unfortunate places and been through hell and back and overcome a lot of obstacles regarding trauma, abuse, addiction, and on and on and on. And to let you know today that I'm sitting and talking to you, I'm not a victim anymore. Because for many years, I felt victimized, like I'm not good enough, I'm not white enough, I'm not black enough, and on and on and on. And until I took responsibility for my action, until I made a decision that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired the way I was living. And I took some action, drastic action. And as a result of that, my life changed tremendously. And I want to share some of that story and bringing guests who overcome similar challenges, sometimes maybe even worse challenging than mine, and also bringing guest experts who are expert in their field regarding trauma, addiction, and so many other things that we're going to talk about. I don't want to go too much in my story because there's many episodes that we're gonna talk about it. I just thought to jump in and do a really introduction that what you can expect from Resiliency Talk. You see, I believe that we all have responsibilities, and our stories, our challenges that we overcome can help someone else. At least that's been my experience of many years that I'm living in this path. A little bit about where I came from and where I'm at today to give you a little bit of idea. I'm not going to dive too much, but just a little bit for you to know that if someone like me, and we all have our challenges, we all have our own ways of overcoming. I was traumatized as a child, before age of 10, so many unfortunately, mentally, emotionally, sexually, physically abused. By age of 14, I was brainwashed to walk in a landmine, and in Iran-Iraq war, I shot myself, unable to escape. I watched my friends blown up in front of me at age of 14. Just until age of 14. Forced marriage, escaped from country to country, became refugee in a refugee camp, came to Canada 1988, drinking, drugging, and feeling like not good enough. I've been to 17 treatment centers, 29 detoxes, jails, institution, and homelessness. And suddenly something happened. And I took action and changed my life. And I want to share to the world and who is watching or listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for taking your time and listening or watching this episode. What we're going to have in our future episodes is people who have overcome unimaginable things and they change their life. For example, I witnessed people come here who lost everything. Family, kids, they haven't talked to their kids for years. Nobody wanted to have nothing to do with them. And then I watched it in front of my eyes. They transformed their lives, and now they're productive member of society. And I see time after time, like day after day. And I believe that there are some people out there that they're really would benefit from these stories that we're going to have in our podcast. So again, as I said, I'm not going to dive too much in my story, but there's lots to say. I believe all the challenges that I overcome, who would have known that from a place of that being really desperate, wanted to die, couldn't stand in my skin another moment, eating McDonald's ketchup for 3 days, to place of where I am at and love who I am. And I really work hard on myself. And of course, you know what, this is another thing that I want to talk about. We are not big enough. You're not big enough, strong enough. And I am not big enough and strong enough to deal with some of the challenges. We need something bigger than ourselves. I don't know. You call it the power of universe, the creator, God, whatever you want to call it. But I believe that there is some power work in me to be able to come and do this, considering this is the first time I ever done something like that. And I felt that, who am I to do this? But here's the thing. I believe my story and your story and thousands of other people's story can change someone's life, can ignite someone's heart to take action, to be a father again, to be a mother again, to be a productive member of society again. And this is the gift. I'm absolutely blessed and grateful to be able to do something like that, and maybe can change life. And for that, I'm truly blessed and grateful. And another thing that I want to talk about, that, I'm not a victim anymore. I don't live in a victimized mentality. Life will happen, either we like it or not. Relationship ends, businesses go sideways, someone does something that we don't like, we get but here's the thing. I learned how to handle life on life terms. You see, for years I thought that I'm the unluckiest person in the earth, in this world. I don't know if you felt like that before. There's 8 billion other people in this world. And my experience shows that we all go through challenges. Either we just left the challenges, or we heading towards challenges, or we are in challenges at this moment. That's life. Nothing will come easily. I believe some of us, we are very spoiled, especially in North America. We are very spoiled. And I don't know about you, but I was one of those individuals. that I wasn't grateful. I wasn't really, there are people that they don't have anything to eat. There are people that they're right now, as we speak, dying in other side of the world because of war, because of disease, because lack of food. And what are you grateful for today? Thank you for taking your time, either watching this or listening to this podcast. Looking forward to serve you in future, and God bless.
You've just listened to another episode of Resiliency Talks. Resiliency Talks was recorded live in the studio with final editing before upload. The views and events expressed on this podcast belong solely to their author. Subscribe today to Resiliency Talks or visit www.donotgiveupnow.com for more daily encouraging content. Don't miss the next episode of Resiliency Talks.